We are talking with professional NFL handicapper Vanessa Walsh, Scott Kellen from SixCentSports.com, and Robert Faringo from Doc Sports, previewing NFL Week 6 on the SBR TV NFL Experts Roundtable. Let's move on to one of your games that you picked, Robert. It's a pretty interesting game in line. Dallas at New England. New England is right now -7, and they opened at that line, but Dallas has taken some money. That line is now a dog line on New England. The Pats are 4-1 against the spread on the year, so they've been covering a lot. But Dallas is off the bye, and one interesting thing that I've noticed about Dallas is they have an NFL record 9 consecutive games that have been decided by 3 points or fewer, dating back to last season. So that's a pretty interesting thing. Dallas does seem to be the kind of team that plays up to their competition when they're better and plays down to their competition when the competition is worse. They seem to be recharged. I'm thinking Dallas might actually be a bet here. Why did you pick this game, and what side do you like?
Yeah, this definitely isn't one of my favorite games of the week, but I thought it was one of the most interesting lines because it seemed like, it seems a little high, right? It seems like Dallas would be a solid bet going on the road, coming off a bye with a lot of their injured players healing up. But all that is kind of why I like New England in this game. It's like people want to talk about Tebow. People would rather talk about Tebow and Romo than just talk about the Tom Brady machine, basically. Like you said, they're 4-1 straight up. They're 4-1 against the spread. All of their wins have come by 9 points or more. So it's one of those situations where I bet if you ask somebody, you'd be like, well, who do you think is going to win the game, New England or Dallas? About 95% of the people say, well, New England. Well, if you think New England's going to win the game, why wouldn't they cover this spread when their average win margin is about 12 points this year? Also, from a schematic standpoint, Dallas's defense is still terrible. Having a week off has not made me forget about that. And there's no way that they're going to match up with the New England offense that scored 30 points or more 13 straight games.
Yeah.
Dallas's Achilles heel on defense is their secondary, but even more specifically, Dallas over the last 2 years has been horrific at defending opposing tight ends. And what does New England do? They like to work their 2 tight ends and work Wes Welker in the middle of the field. Well, that plays right into Dallas's weakness. So this is one of those games where I think that maybe it'll be nip-tuck for 2 quarters, but New England will hit the gas, and when they do, Dallas will do exactly what they always do, and that's pee down their legs. The Patriots are 40-18 against the spread in their last 58 games as a favorite between 3.5 and more than 3.5 and less than 10 points. So I actually thought that this number should have been higher. I thought it should have been about 8.5. So I think that there is some value on the Patriots here.
Scott Kellen, what light can you shed on this line? Do you think Dallas at some point during this game is likely to urinate on their own legs?
Well, they might. I think there's value actually on Dallas. In this one, I'm actually going to disagree with Robert. Short of, obviously, if Tony Romo does piss down his leg and all that, obviously, we'll see what we've seen with Dallas in the past. But I make this line about 3. I'm sorry, but I do not respect New England's defense at all. And the one thing I would disagree with Robert on, I believe Dallas's defense actually is above average. And when I look at the numbers, they're allowing 3.1 yards a rush. That's to a collection of teams that they played that average 3.9. They allow 5.7 yards a pass to a group of teams that actually average 6.5. When you add all that together, they allow 4.9 yards a play to a group of teams that actually average 5.3 yards a play. So I think their defense is tremendously, tremendously better than New England's defense. And I think their offense is actually pretty good. They average 7.8 yards a pass against teams that allow 7.9. So they're averaging about 1.9 yards a pass better than what their opponents are giving up. New England obviously is very good passing the ball. They average 9 yards a pass to a group of teams that allow 6.9, so they're about 2.1 yards a pass better. So Dallas's passing offense is almost right there with New England. Hopefully they're going to get some of the receivers back this week. I know they're going to get some help back in the secondary. That will help them. Like I said, I make the line 3. I think Dallas has a much, much better defense. They can move the ball. If they don't turn the ball over, I think they can stay within this game. The one thing is, Robert, or maybe you pointed out, Peter, Dallas has scored 30 points or more 13 games in a row, or New England has, sorry. They're going to do that again probably. So the question becomes, can Dallas score 27, 28 points? They are going to need to do that. I think they can do that. I would lean towards Dallas. I don't have any situations on the game to put me on either side from that standpoint, but I think the value clearly lies in Dallas's favor here.
All right, so we have some disagreement among the experts. Vanessa Walsh, what do you think about this game? Do you think Dallas will be able to metaphorically, collectively control their excretory functions and hang tight with New England to the end?
Yeah, well, I think that this should be an interesting game. We should be able to see the Cowboys hold their own, I think, as far as being an underdog, and they might be able to cover the spread. However, they're definitely going to struggle with running the ball as they have in the past earlier this year. They've struggled against running the ball in short yardage situations. They've had 31 plays through their first 4 games in which they needed to pick up 3 yards or less, and they passed 13 times and run the ball 18 times. Only 14 of those 31 plays, 45%, have been successful. So I think we're going to watch an interesting back and forth game, but we might see the Cowboys exploit the Patriots, and I don't know, should be fun to see them cover.
This is a tough game for me. I would definitely lay off, but if New England does cover, that will break Dallas' streak of 9 straight games decided by 3 or fewer points, dating to last year.